Now, the big story, we talked about this a few minutes ago. Shams Charania, ESPN NBA insider, said that the Knicks called both the T-Wolves and the Thunder to get permission to interview their head coaches to fill in and to succeed Tom Thibodeau. But we're told no on Chris Finch and no on Ime Udoka. So, okay. Also, according to Shams, they have not called the Mavericks for permission to talk to Jason Kidd. However, sources tell ESPN that if they do call the Mavericks would tell them no. Right now, there's a micro and a macro point to make on this, okay? Here's the micro point.
So proud I taught you that.
I know. I love that. I love going. I say that now with people. So, well, there's a micro and a macro point. People think, wow, look at that. This guy really knows economics. Yeah, I do. Let me tell you about what it's like to have Bitcoin.
$109,000.
Number one is... What's that number?
Bitcoin.
That's what
it's worth $109,000.
Oh wow,
right
okay,
now.
all right. Now
so
I know that.
I don't think you want to necessarily laugh at the Bitcoin people right now.
No, I'm saying my point of I just got to wait 2 weeks. I'm not laughing at people at Bitcoin. But number one, and what did we say last week? If the Knicks are going down this road, I said it when I. If you're going to go down the road of calling other teams, call the Heat for Erik Spoelstra. Call him because maybe he says yes. He and Steve Kerr are the two best coaches in the NBA. Go get a guy that's been through every possible scenario, that's still a young head coach, that's coached big-time athletes, big-time superstars, big-time divas. He's managed big media situations. He knows how to win in the playoffs. Maybe he's sick of not having a team that can do anything in Miami. I know that Pat Riley's not going to want to do any favors for the Knicks, but hey, if you're going down the road for this, right? I would say call the Warriors, but okay, all right. Steve
or the
Kerr,
Sixers.
Well, but a lot of those things that you had as qualifiers also describe a certain coach from a certain town in the Midwest.
Yeah, the Bucks.
No.
Call them. I'll give you the number.
No.
It's 1-800. Call Doc.
Call 1-800-GET-BENT. Not happening. Call the Heat for Erik Spoelstra. If you're already being told no for a couple of guys, call. What's the worst that could happen, right? Pat Riley's going to laugh and say no.
It's not about your shooting percentage at this point.
Maybe Spoelstra's – because that's the thing is that if the coaches surprise them and say, hey, I really want this job – then the team would have no choice but to allow permission because they don't want a coach who doesn't want to be there, and eventually they're going to wind up getting their
Then
guy,
you're going to find somebody there? Like if you keep shooting your shot at the bar, eventually someone's significant other says, yeah, whatever, go ahead. Like that's kind of what you're doing.
The T-Wolves saying no and the Thunder saying no, okay, I understand that. But it's going to take the coach saying, I want to talk to them, and then it's open. And then you have to do it because you can't have the guy come back who wants another job. So you have to find it. You're going to get rid of him anyway. Why not figure out compensation and you send a guy someplace else? He doesn't want to coach for you and wants to go someplace else. You got to figure it out. So why not call if you're calling the Thunder, if you're calling the Rockets and you're calling the T-Wolves, why not call the biggest of big game hunting, right? The big go and call Eric's. But maybe Spoelstra will say, hey, Pat, it's been great, but we're not really winning. And, I'm not behind Bucket Hat Tyler Hero as our franchise player. We're not making anything further than the 7th spot in the playoffs. So, yeah, I really would like to go. Pat Riley could say no, but then he's going to let him go as a head coach.
Well, just like he did with Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
I'm not acquiescing.
Okay.
All right, eventually Jimmy Butler got out.
This is because it's going to
like cheese.
It's going to take the coach saying, this is the job I want to make this happen. Teams, of course, are going to say no. It's going to take the coach to say, sorry, guys, but I really want this gig. I want to talk to them. And, your agent talks back channel about, hey, if I say I want the job, will I get it? Yes, we'd give you a guarantee you'd get the job. There's all ways to make it happen, but this is where it is, where the coach has to say yes, because then that puts the team in a bad spot because you can't bring the guy back. At that point, the guy may as well be a free agent. Then it's okay. We're negotiating compensation.
Well, if nothing else, then the Knicks are screwing over. I mean, this could be a great strategy. Creating unrest and distrust
throughout all the
I'm going to keep calling all the winners.
Yeah,
I want winners. So all I'm doing is calling teams that made the playoffs. I'm going to see if I can sow the seeds of malcontentedness.
We're going to call the Celtics from Missoula. We're going to do all of it. Yeah, it's going to be great.
The Bucks for Doc.
Stop! No, it's good teams. You only can say good teams. Only good teams.
Well, if Damian Lillard hadn't gotten hurt, you don't know.
No, I think I know. I think I've seen enough of that. But look, here's the dangerous part, right? Because obviously it's funny seeing that.
Everybody says no.
The more no one said no. Teams have said no, but it doesn't matter because the more names that come up that the Knicks wind up going 0 for on, because it doesn't matter that the T-Wolves said no. It doesn't matter the Thunder said no. Here's two names that the Knicks wanted to talk to. They were both told no. Now, we know that Jason Kidd is on the radar. We had the Mark Stein report. There was mutual interest between both sides. This would now be 3 times. 3 guys mentioned that the Knicks aren't going to get. The more names that are mentioned in a coaching search, the less confidence anybody has that you know what you're doing.
Can we slap them up on a bingo card and see how quickly we get across?
I-9. Oh, that's Doc. No,
well, how about you go to Billy Donovan? He's the 3rd longest tenured coach. No, you want him?
Doc Rivers would be the free space. Yeah, of course. Oh, yeah, I've never been there yet.
I mean, you're already at 2 out of 29.
But the best opportunities, you only hear one name, and that becomes the guy. But now maybe you hear 1 or 2 names because there's so much posturing. But the more names you hear, the worse it is for that team, because it seems like we really don't know what they're doing. I want to think the Knicks knew what they were doing. Firing Tibbs, we had to move on from, and I get that. We had to move on from him. We found out the players weren't that happy with him. We told you the night it happened. There's not been an outpouring of WTF for what's going on with the Knicks.
No,
right?
Everybody kind of said we had a good run.
Brunson
and
Hart both said
good.
nice things. Thank you very much. But we've heard in the exit interviews, the Knicks said, he was very stubborn, didn't want to make any changes. We thought that really hurt us. So,
in the battle between him and Leon Rose, right?
So
in terms of I built you this squad and you don't want to use it.
So I get you had to get rid of Tibbs. But the more names that come up that you go 0 for on, the worse it is for you. And the worse that job seems to be a good job. Because if it was such a good job, wouldn't Finch or Udoka or Jason Kidd say, that's the gig I want? They've all said, hey, we're happy staying where we're staying. Who doesn't want to coach the Knicks? Boy, here they are. They're back to being the Knicks. It's the number 1 market in the country. They have all the attention on them. Why wouldn't I want to go coach a team that's got superstars already, the superstar in Jalen Brunson that everybody loves? Why wouldn't I want to go coach this guy? He could be the face of the league. It makes the job look bad. It makes the Knicks look inept. You can't have that many names be thrown out there and go 0 for on all of them. And that's the danger, because that's what I see happening for the Knicks right now, right? Like I said, I could have fun and say, call Erik Spoelstra if that's where you're going on, but how many names do you have to hear before people go, man, nobody wants this job? And suddenly the optic of the Knicks being this great destination flips. It becomes a team that, I don't know that I really want to go there. Well, it's crazy. I don't like what's going on. Free agents start thinking nobody wants this job. Why do I want to go sign there? And it gets more embarrassing. You can only have so many names out there that you don't hire before it flips on you, and it's close to flipping for the Knicks because you've already had 3 names that it looks like they're not going to get.
Yeah, a couple of things. First off, when the grid came out of potential coaches, I don't know that I've ever seen that many people figuratively thrown into the proverbial hat. Right, here we go. Here's 15, 20 names, all the way down to Stephen A. Smith.
Oh, yeah.
Right, he was 60 to 1.
He's only 60, really? He's 60 to 1.
Hey, we were talking about it before.
Not 6 million to 1, 60 to 1.
It was 4-0, in that U.S. game earlier. It's like it was only 100 to 1 in live betting.
Not 6 trillion to 1. He's 60 to 1. Really?
Well,
60 to 1.
I think but in a market like that, all it takes is one dope. Maybe someone associated with Stephen A. Smith to put a big bet down, and it totally changes the odds. But all of that to say, we're
leveraged to the max, man.
We can't take any more money on this guy.
We got a lot of $5 bets on Stephen A. Smith becoming the head coach of the Knicks.
Hey, just for giggles, it's James Dolan. You have no idea. But we talked about it with Spoelstra, and then obviously with the Mark Stein report going back to last week with Jason Kidd of taking those swings and looking at Finch, looking at Udoka, and going on down the line. Except for Spoelstra, he's already at a spot in the Eastern Conference where you look at it and say, okay, here's a path. You may not love your roster. You may not love your face, as you call him, Buckethead or Bucket Hat Hero. We'll call him Buckethead. Like
he's a great guitarist, too.
Yeah, exactly.
He was in Guns N' Roses for a hot minute.
Yeah, for a while. Yeah. But all of that to say, the Western Conference is a lot more difficult to navigate right now, at least on paper, right? Because the Bucks, whether it's Doc or whoever, Giannis may be somewhere else. Lillard's not coming back. The rest of the team's old.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You look at the Knicks are in a position with the Celtics. No Jason Tatum, and there was already the cap restrictions where they were probably going to have to blow things up.
Yeah.
Or at least lose some of the ancillary parts beyond whether Jaylen Brown's back or not.
Mm-hmm.
and then just keep going out the rest of the conference. Not a lot of heavy hitters. Cleveland, are you buying them long term? Maybe, maybe not. Is Darius Garland going to stay? Is he a guy that gets dealt away? I mean, Atlanta, people have tried to sell Atlanta before. That's not working.
We're calling for Kenny Atkinson. We're calling for
But legitimately, like, keep going on. Like, he was the second favorite in the first list that came out.
Of course it was.
Right? But keep going on down the line that you've got in the Western Conference a lot of depth and teams that are still on the go, like San Antonio. Whether they get Giannis or not, they've got a roster and they haven't given up a lot.
Yeah, but Wemby may be becoming a monk. Maybe, I mean, they may not get Wemby back.
Yeah, but he might have learned some things about healing processes to where they become unstoppable. Games lost due to injury, zero.
Is that with Ras Al Ghul now? Wemby is.